you see here now that there are different degrees to which some of these methods are designed to maintain processing or to check accuracy of processing. And so one thing that I think is useful to think about here is that ones that are good for maintaining processing often require very quick responses, because when we're maintaining processing, we're trying to keep the lesson going. And if we stop and we check accuracy, that's a good thing, but it's not simply maintaining processing. It's not keeping students' heads in the game as we move forward in the content. It's pausing and establishing that students understand. So for example, a whip around can be used to maintain processing, but because every student gives an answer, it also helps us check accuracy. Not in necessarily lots of detail. Students could repeat answers, and so I could infer then some students don't totally understand, but it's still a good way to sometimes check accuracy, to a certain degree check accuracy. Core responses are not good at checking accuracy for the reasons I just described in terms of our curriculum example. Hand signals can be used to maintain processing. You get a quick response, and they can also be used to check accuracy because you can scan the classroom and see which students are putting up the right fingers or not. Often teachers will have their students hold them in front of their shirt or something like that in order to make sure that they're just responding themselves and not sort of looking at other students. Not that they're trying to cheat, but they're trying to participate, and sometimes they sort of get the anxiety, feel the need to look. So if they hold it in front of themselves, that is eliminated. So that's a nice way to sort of then check accuracy of processing. A cued retell is not a good way to maintain processing because you're stopping the lesson essentially to do this. You're doing it to summarize a certain part of the lesson. It's really designed to check accuracy. Whiteboards can be used in both ways. Sometimes you get a very short whiteboard response. Response cards, you can imagine the same thing. They hold up the card. That can maintain processing. But because you can see everybody, you can check accuracy. Turning and talking is primarily check accuracy because students are engaged in conversation with each other. They'll check each other's accuracy. You can target the students you want to focus on. So you know certain students are going to struggle more with a certain topic. You go and listen into them. Occasionally, I use turn and talk to maintain processing with a very quick turn and talk, but primarily I use it for that. Stop and jot is generally to maintain processing, but if I am walking around, I can see students' responses. I get a sense of where students are, so I can sometimes use that to check accuracy. I particularly use it, though, because it's quick to maintain processing. Finally, the individual responses can serve that purpose, particularly if, as we described, you're doing the cold call type of responses where it's very quick. Then you're maintaining processing in that way, and you're checking accuracy. But you're not checking accuracy for everyone unless you do it for every student in the class, in which case it's almost like a whip around. So think about that when we get to deciding what types of responses to elicit. You now have a nice sense of how these different methods fit into our framework of maintaining, processing, and checking accuracy. Both of those are valid reasons to elicit responses and to do it often, but we have slightly different purposes depending on the place that we are in the lesson.